Now, dear friends, I welcome you again to another series of Sunday reflection, a reflection of the fourth Sunday of Advent, Year B. And dear friends, the theme of our reflection this week will be Jesus, the promised Messiah. A lot of us in our world today, in our country today, a lot of us decide to take the glory when the Lord is revealed. Our pastors, our priests, our kings and leaders decide to take the glory, decide to channel the thanksgiving and glory that is to be channeled to God, and decide to see them, to make people see them as these wonderful, miraculous wonder makers. Instead of God being glorified, they decide to take this glory as those things being done by them. And then, dear friends, when the Lord shows us mercy, it is the Lord who is merciful, and not we humans that are merciful. Now, in the readings of today, we shall see how the readings are claimed and confirmed Christ the Lord as the only Messiah, the Messiah who will take over the dynasty of his father David, the Messiah who will come to introduce a new world for us, the Messiah we await in this season of Advent. Now, in the first reading from the second book of Samuel, chapter 7, in this first reading, we see the encounter between David and Nathan. Now, David is a man of war, but yet man of peace. He is a man whom God has gone with in all his wars, has defeated his enemies, and a man whom God has made him build a house, a comfortable and permanent house for himself. But this David, regretting his violent lifestyle, then tries to think that this ark of the covenant, which signifies the presence of God among his people, this ark of the covenant is supposed to have a wonderful and befitting temple. Now, this David tries to relate this intention to his advisor Nathan. Nathan now, on hearing this, tries to narrate to David the message of God. Now, Prophet Nathan tries to let David know that this temple which you intend building for the Lord will be built by a descendant, your descendant, by one who will come after you, the Messiah who will take over this dynasty and then rule over this dynasty forever. Now, dear friends, in the second reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans, this passage concludes the version of the challenging episode of St. Paul. It is a version that has a recapitulation in Romans chapter 10, chapter 9, and chapter 11, which gives the history of the revealing of the salvation of humanity to the people of Jews who rejected him, and then was revealed to the Gentiles. Now, this passage, St. Paul tries to admonish his audience that the mystery of the plans of God on the salvation of humanity, which was foretold by prophets of old, was revealed to the Jews who later rejected him, is now revealed to the Gentiles, revealed to you and I, to everyone, when we hear the gospel of God. The Word made flesh, the God who reveals himself in the gospel, is that Messiah, St. Paul, that mystery with the plans of God, that the plans of God over the salvation of humanity. That is the mystery St. Paul tries to admonish his audience, that God has revealed these plans to his people. But when we listen to the gospel, when we listen to the words of God in the gospel, this mystery is revealed to us. And so, dear friends, in the gospel of today, from the gospel of Luke, now Luke chapter 1, verse 26 to 38. Now, the evangelist Luke tries to narrate to us the annunciation of the birth of a great and extraordinary divinity. Now, in the Bible, there has been the announcement of the birth of extraordinary personalities. But then, this personality is more extraordinary than these people. Like the announcement of the birth of Samson in Judges chapter 13. the birth of Isaac in Genesis chapter 17 verse 18, the announcement of John the Baptist in Luke chapter 1 verse 5, and then the birth of great men Samuel in Samuel chapter 1, in 1 Samuel chapter 1. These are births of extraordinary personalities. But in the gospel of today, the extraordinary personality being announced is the Messiah the people are waiting for, the Messiah the people hope for, the Messiah who will come into the world of the Christians and then reveal a new world for them. This is the Messiah that is announced in the gospel of today. But now it is that the angel appeared to a woman, a virgin. This is a person who was never known. It is a person, a virgin. Now, the Greek context, the Greek understanding, or the Greek idea of this virgin, this woman, the virginity was attributed to the poor. Virginity was attributed to young women who do not know what is happening. Young women who are like useless people, like trees that do not produce fruits. Young women who do not know men, who men do not even care or have concern for. This is the situation of Virgin Mary. And the angel appeared to her and said, "Rejoice, you are highly favored." And that was why Mary was like, "How can I, who does not know man, a virgin?" But the angel said, "You are highly favored, and that the Lord has found favor in you and will do great things for you." And so it is within this context now. Now, this virgin coming from the poor lineage, the Lord has now found favor in her. The people were expecting a Messiah, a great Messiah, a powerful Messiah coming from the rich country or a rich family, coming from a famous family. But the Messiah who has come from a poor background, and then from a virgin who does not know man, a virgin whom people take as useless, one whom the people does not know. Now this promised Messiah came from this lineage, the lineage of David, a Messiah who will come to take up this dynasty and he will rule forever. A Messiah who will come to introduce a new world. A Messiah who will come to bring peace and joy to his people. And this is the Messiah. This is he whom John the Baptist gave every praise to. This is he whom John the Baptist witnessed and proclaimed. You and I, as we await the coming of this Messiah, as we await the coming of this Messiah into our hearts, and in this season of Advent, we are to witness this Messiah. Give witness to this Messiah. We are to proclaim this Messiah by our lives, in our relationship with our neighbor. That this Messiah will come to introduce a new world, a new situation, a new life, and a new things for us. And that will make that our world, like what was foretold, that Messiah who will come to bring peace and joy, that as we continue by our lifestyle to bear witness to him, he will bring peace and love and joy in our world, in our situations, and in our challenges. May the good Lord bless his words in our hearts.